What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Zepp, and today we are continuing our reactions on the new Zepp channel. Well, it's not a new channel, it was of course Zeppelin, but now we're in the under the rebrand of Zepp, should I say. Sorry, you can probably tell I'm still a little rusty at all this. It's been quite a while since I recorded, and if you just watched the last reaction that went out to Tool, that was the very first video I recorded in like 2 weeks. It's under the name of Zepp, and this is just the second one, so I'm still shaking off a little bit of ring rust here, so forgive me. But if this is your first time to the channel, welcome in. I hope you're doing well, and today we are reacting to the song Holy War by the band Lovebites. This is live at Zepp Diver City, Tokyo in 2020. Now, this is the first time I've listened to Lovebites. This was a recommendation to me over on Twitch. We usually like to react to requested songs on Twitch and react even any sort of songs on Twitch, but the reason why this is being done now in this format is because I'm trying to record just a couple of weeks in advance to try and get ahead on videos again, so I'm not under any immediate pressure to record as soon as I come back, because I'll have to, of course, be doing checks and stuff, making sure the Twitch is working okay, because we're putting a lot of effort into this revamp, and I'm going to be running a lot more channels, as I've probably announced by now in the announcement video. We've got like Zepp Gaming and Zepp COD, and then the Zepp Zone Twitch channel, and then I'm going to be trying to post on Instagram and TikTok as much as I can, at least once a day on Instagram. So I'm going to be very preoccupied and getting used to the schedule to start off with, so getting a few weeks ahead on videos is going to be very, very important for me. But I don't really know that much about Lovebites. I have a feeling they're more of like a metal type of band. I don't, yeah, as I said, I know virtually nothing about them. Is it Japanese? I apologize if that is incorrect. But what kind of worries me about listening to them is because they were recommended to me, I think, when I was listening to Baby Metal, and a lot of the time, like, I'm just not the biggest fan of metal that comes out from places like Japan, because I'm not particularly a fan of the style of music. I find it just doesn't appeal to me. So I'm worried about reacting to this one. And please know that if I do not like the song, that is in no way sort of me trying to diminish your opinion on the music whatsoever. I'm just going to be blatantly honest. You know, I'm never going to sit here and say, oh, this is amazing, so I get all the fans watching all my videos. It'd be more beneficial to me if I did that, but I want to be honest with you guys, because I feel like there can be a lot of faking things in the reaction community when it comes to music, because they know people want to hear other people say nice things about music they like. But I think it's more respectful to be honest, and that's how I'm going to be during this. But it makes it sound like I'm predicting it's going to be bad. I'm not. I have my doubts, but I want to listen to it anyway and see how it is. So without further ado, let's get into it. Holy War by Lovebites. I like that riff, I have to say I like it. I have to throw a quick pause in there just to say, for anyone, I'll throw back a second or two as well, so we're just going into the lyrics, but for anyone who knows Thin Lizzy, anytime I hear a harmonizing guitar like that, and I feel like it's very, very common nowadays, like especially you hear it in any like sort of Japanese games or whatever, you always hear like harmonizing guitar moments and like action scenes or whatever. I find it's quite common, but again, it's all of the I should have researched whether or not they're Japanese prior to going into this, so again, I sincerely apologize if I'm wrong on this, but I find the music is somewhat similar to that, and my point was just being that the harmonizing guitar always reminds me of Thin Lizzy, because Thin Lizzy, I think, really done a good job of the harmonizing guitars. I mean, like, the boys are back in town. The guitars running at the end of that song are just unbelievable. Just wanted to put that out there. Just wanted to put where my head's at with it. Okay, this is where I'm going to throw the first like proper pause. That first pause I did wasn't proper. Again, ever since now that I'm YouTube partnered, it's much harder to kind of deal with the copyright claims. I'm trying my best here. We're gonna probably do one pause here and one pause at like 3.5 minutes in. Do you know, so far I'm not disliking it at all. You know, it's definitely better than I was thinking it was going to be, or kind of better than the worst of what I was anticipating. You know, like I'm pleasantly surprised by it, I have to say. Is it something now that I'm really enjoying? No, but it's actually all right. I think it's very good vocalist. I think what's happening with the drums is decent. Again, I think I've been hearing a double kick drum being used quite a lot. I could be wrong in that. It was kind of hard to pick up the drums in this recording, but for those of you who don't know me, I'm really not a fan of a constant abuse of the double kick drum, and it's a very common thing to do in heavy rock or metal, and heavy rock could be kind of my I suppose favorite genre, so it's kind of weird to have that complaint, you know. But I really don't like an overuse of double kick drum, and but other than that, it sounds really good. The instrumentation, I think, is very good. There's some good playing going on there. Again, it's just reminiscent of a style that I'm, again, not a massive fan of, but in the way it's being done, I'm sort of digging it. But I'm just not quite there to really liking it yet. I'm enjoying listening to it at the moment is what I'm trying to say. But let's continue on anyway. Wow, that's a very nice breakdown. I like that. I'd like if it was a little punchier, but that's a petty complaint. Alright, so I'm going to throw the pause in there just before we get into what I presume is the guitar solo. So, yeah, so far my opinions haven't really changed in it. I mean, I think the vocalist she's very, very talented, very, very good voice without a shadow of a doubt, but I don't find what she's singing, especially like at the beginning of the verses, to be particularly that interesting. Just like in terms of the progression, like I'm not a fan of it at all. I don't find it engaging whatsoever. But when she goes into sort of like the end of the verses before we went into that breakdown, or before we went into the chorus the first time round, it wasn't the chorus. I think it was just back to the instruments. I found that way more interesting, and then of course that breakdown there is very cool. But again, I thought it would have been cool if it was a bit more punchy. But that's a petty complaint. I know that. So yeah, there's elements of it that I don't like. You know, elements that, you know, would be the reason why I wouldn't listen to this type of music so much. But there are a lot of good elements about it as well that I am enjoying, and in saying the negatives, I'm not trying to negate the positives. It's just that I do like to try and be as objective as I can be here on this channel. But it certainly is an interesting song. I think they're a talented band. I can see why people like them. I can see why they were recommended to me. I can see why they have the fan base that they do. And yeah, it certainly is good, but I don't actually give any more thoughts on it until the very, very end, because I don't want to be repeating myself. So let's go on to the end, and then I'll give you my final thoughts. I actually really like that guitar solo, I have to say. That was a very nice part. This is a very nice part, I have to say. Be some concert to go to that, I'd say. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that was Holy War by Lovebites. I have to say, the last sort of third of that did win me over a little bit. I have to say, like one thing I was just thinking of there as to maybe why I'm kind of off with the double kick drum, and I was thinking back to certain instances in the song as we were coming towards the end of it, and I feel like it's like, especially in the bit where I said I wish it was punchier. I think sometimes a lot of that punchiness in music can come from what's being done on the bass, whether you distort the bass or what, crank it up, whatever you do to it. But I find a lot of metal music relies on the kick in the song and the punch of the song to come from the use of the double kick drum. And I noticed it there during the end, is that I really wish that it was, I think, the bass carrying the punch of the song a little more. Maybe that's just down to the recording. Look, maybe when you go to see it live, it's a completely different story. But that's just kind of my thoughts on it, and it's not necessarily applied to the song in general. It's more so just my overview of a use of a double kick drum. But if I was to give that song out of 10, I'd actually think I'd give it around like a 7.7. And the reason I give it a 7.7 is because, look, there are parts of that song I really liked. Would I listen to it again? Absolutely. Could it even grow on me? Definitely. But I don't think it's a type of song that I'd ever love, because the things that I wouldn't like within the song are just fundamental things that I don't particularly like about the genre, you know. It's nothing necessarily against this band itself. It's more so my overall opinions on sort of what you consider the metal genre. Like, I think you would put that song in metal more so than heavy rock. And there's a lot of parts of metal that, while I like the sound of metal overall, you can tell if you've been around for a while, I do like a metal sound, but there's just fundamentals within metal that I quite dislike. And another thing I will say as well is that I just to reiterate, is I really, really like the vocals, but there's just, in terms of like the ability, but there's just certain things that were done within the vocals that I wasn't a massive fan of. But the harmonizing guitars are really cool. The guitar solo was amazing. Really won it over for me. There's definitely good energy to music like this. I can really see why people would enjoy it live, and I'd happily go see it live. I have to say, it just isn't up there with things I'd necessarily consider my thing. But I do recognize it is a good song with very good performers. That is why I give it more towards an 8 instead of maybe lower down towards a 7. You know, I'm edging towards 8, but I'm giving it 7.7 because I want my subjectivity and my opinion on it to correlate some amount in the reviews or the score that I would give it. I don't want it to be purely just in the objective, because that's just a little boring, you know. But anyway, if you enjoyed the video, please make sure to leave a like. I really hope you did enjoy the video. Again, if you're a Lovebites fan and this wasn't the type of reaction you wanted to see because I wasn't gushing over it, I do apologize. But if you've watched this far, I really appreciate you for sticking through it with me. I hope to see you back again. I definitely would like to listen to more Lovebites in the future and see what I think of them. Please make sure to leave me a comment down in the comments below as to what song from them or another artist I should react to next. And make sure to come over to my Twitch. There should be a link somewhere, or I might have socials pop up on the screen here. I'm not sure, but there will be links somewhere on this video to find all my channels and my Twitch, my Instagram, Twitters. I'll have 2 Twitters, I think, by the time I get everything up and going, the whole lot. So make sure to check that all out. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you again soon. Take care. I've been Zep. Peace.